Daddy, I had a bad dream. A small voice whispers in the darkness. You blink your eyes, still groggy, and pull yourself up on your elbows. The soft red glow of the clock illuminates the room, casting eerie shadows on the walls. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, a time when the world is usually quiet and still. You look towards the voice, trying to shake off the sleepiness. Do you want to climb into bed and tell me about it? You ask gently, expecting your daughter to shuffle over and snuggle under the covers with you. No, Daddy, she replies. Her refusal is unusual, and it wakes you up more fully. You can just barely make out the pale form of your daughter standing near your bed, her silhouette blending with the shadows in the room. Why not, sweetie? You ask, a bit more awake now. Your concern grows as you try to understand what might be troubling her. Because in my dream, when I told you about the dream, the thing wearing mommy's skin sat up, she says, her voice trembling slightly. The words send a chill down your spine, and for a moment you feel paralyzed with fear. You cannot take your eyes off of your daughter, your mind racing with a mix of disbelief and fear. The room feels colder, the shadows deeper and more menacing. As you process her words, you become acutely aware of the covers behind you. They begin to shift slightly, as if someone or something is moving beneath them. The subtle movement is almost imperceptible, but in the silence of the night, it feels amplified. Your heart pounds in your chest as you slowly turn your head to look at the bed. The room feels frozen in time, each second stretching out painfully as you anticipate what you might see. The covers continue to shift, a slow and deliberate movement that makes your blood run cold. You hold your breath, every nerve in your body on edge. You glance back at your daughter, her eyes wide and filled with fear, mirroring your own terror. The room is thick with tension, the air heavy with the unknown. Despite the fear gripping you, you reach out a hand towards your daughter, a silent promise of protection. She takes a hesitant step closer, her small figure trembling in the darkness. You gather your courage, pulling her into a tight embrace. The presence in the bed looms large in your mind, but your priority is clear: keeping your daughter safe. Together, you both watch the bed, waiting to see what will happen next. The night is filled with unspoken fears and a sense of foreboding. You can feel your daughter's heartbeat against yours, a rapid rhythm that matches your own. The movement under the covers becomes more pronounced, and you brace yourself for whatever might come. The room is silent except for your own breathing and the soft rustle of the shifting covers. In that moment, you find a reservoir of strength within yourself. No matter what happens, you are ready to protect your daughter. The two of you face the unknown together, a small but powerful force against the darkness.
In the warm, sunlit bedroom, a young girl is happily playing with her toys. The room is a vivid world of imagination, filled with colorful dolls, stuffed animals, and scattered building blocks. Her laughter fills the air as she creates stories and adventures for her toys, lost in her own little world of fun and creativity. Suddenly, she pauses in her play, her head tilting slightly as she hears a familiar voice. It's her mother calling her name from the kitchen. The girl's face lights up with a smile, filled with the eagerness to see her mother. She quickly gets to her feet, leaving her toys behind, and dashes towards the door of her room. The young girl runs down the cozy hallway, her footsteps echoing softly on the wooden floor. Family photos and art line the walls, creating a sense of warmth and love in the home. She is filled with excitement and curiosity, wondering what her mother might need or what surprise might be waiting for her in the kitchen. As she speeds through the hallway, she passes the door to the cupboard under the stairs. This door, usually closed, is slightly ajar today, casting a small shadow on the floor. She barely notices it at first, her mind focused on reaching the kitchen. However, something strange catches her attention out of the corner of her eye. In a startling moment, a hand reaches out from the darkened gap of the cupboard door and grabs her arm, pulling her inside. The girl gasps, her heart racing with fear and confusion. The light of the hallway is quickly replaced by the dim, confined space of the cupboard. Inside the cupboard, the girl finds herself face to face with her mother. But this isn't the comforting figure she expected to see in the kitchen. This version of her mother is whispering urgently, her eyes filled with fear. The girl's heart pounds as she tries to understand what is happening. Her mother pulls her close and whispers softly, her voice trembling with urgency, "Don't go into the kitchen." "I heard it too." The girl's eyes widen in shock and confusion. She clings to her mother, trying to comprehend the strange and frightening situation. Together, they huddle in the small, dark cupboard, their ears straining to catch any sound from the kitchen. The girl's playful world has suddenly turned into one of shadows and whispers. Every creak of the house, every rustle seems amplified as they wait, holding their breath, trying to understand what danger might be lurking just beyond the door. The girl's mind races with questions. What could be in the kitchen? Why is her mother so frightened? She can feel her mother's protective grip, and despite her fear, a spark of curiosity burns within her. She knows that whatever is happening, they will face it together. The moments stretch on as they stay hidden in the cupboard, the light from the hallway casting an eerie glow through the small opening of the door. The girl's eyes slowly adjust to the darkness, and she begins to feel a sense of courage building inside her. She trusts her mother and knows they must be quiet and vigilant. Hand in hand, they wait, the girl's small fingers entwined with her mother's. The fear is still there, but so is the comfort of being together. In this small, confined space, they find a sense of unity and strength. The girl feels braver, knowing her mother is with her, and they will face whatever comes next together. With each passing moment, the girl listens intently to the faint sounds from the house. Her imagination races, picturing what might be in the kitchen. But with her mother beside her, she knows they will be okay. They stay in the cupboard, waiting for the right moment to emerge, ready to face whatever lies ahead.
When I was 8 years old, I had a habit of staying up late into the night, captivated by the flickering images on the television screen. The world felt vast and full of possibilities in those quiet, solitary hours. Those moments alone with my thoughts and the TV were a secret adventure, a time when my imagination could run wild. My mother, a woman deeply rooted in her beliefs and superstitions, often shared peculiar warnings with me. One of her most serious admonitions was to never, under any circumstances, turn on the television at exactly 4:44 a.m. She would recount these warnings with a stern, almost fearful expression, making sure I understood the gravity of her words. She insisted that if you did, you would start to hear strange clicks and the sound of heavy breathing coming from the next room. I remember asking her why 4:44 a.m. was so significant, but she would just shake her head and say, "It's a cursed time. That's all you need to know." As a child, I found her stories both fascinating and terrifying. The idea of hearing clicks and heavy breathing in the dead of night was enough to make my skin crawl. But the part that really scared me was what she said next. If you dared to investigate, you would encounter a black shadow with piercing red eyes, glaring at you from the darkness. I used to lie in bed at night, wide awake, staring at the clock as it inched closer to 4:44 a.m. My curiosity battled with my fear. I wanted to see if her warnings were true, but the thought of those red eyes kept me firmly under my covers. Another of her eerie tales was about wearing someone else's glasses. She claimed that doing so would allow you to see the moment of that person's death. I remember the day she told me this. She had just found me trying on her glasses, and she yanked them off my face, her eyes wide with fear. "Never do that again," she said, her voice trembling. "If you see someone's death, it's a burden you can't escape." Despite my skepticism, one day my curiosity got the better of me. I picked up my mother's glasses and put them on, feeling a chill run down my spine. I stood there, looking around the room, half expecting to see something horrific. First, nothing happened. But then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a fleeting image of my father, surrounded by an eerie, dark fog. From that moment on, I began having unsettling visions involving my father. These visions, though unclear, filled me with an inexplicable sense of dread. They were like fragments of a nightmare, haunting me even when I was awake. I saw flashes of him in dangerous situations, always with that same dark fog encircling him. Ever since that day, I've always harbored a lingering fear of my father, haunted by the thought that I might have glimpsed a fragment of a dark future. It wasn't that I saw him as a monster, but the fear of losing him, of seeing his end, became a shadow that loomed over me. As I grew older, I tried to rationalize these fears. I told myself that they were just stories, figments of a child's overactive imagination. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was some truth to my mother's warnings. Whether these were mere stories or glimpses into something more sinister, they have stayed with me, shaping the way I see the world and the people around me. They taught me to be cautious, to respect the unknown, and to understand that some mysteries are better left unexplored.